Let me guess. You've kissed men who forgot you faster than a Netflix password, while other women seem to have engraved their names in masculine memory with permanent ink. And you're left wondering what their secret is. Botox? Pheromone perfume? A deal with the devil? The truth is far more interesting, and fortunately doesn't involve plastic surgery. Carl Jung discovered something that women's magazines will never tell you. Men aren't as simple as they appear. Behind that facade of beer, basketball, and Netflix, there's a complex psychological universe full of ancestral archetypes waiting to be awakened by the right woman. There's an abyssal difference between kissing like a desperate teenager and kissing like a woman who understands deep masculine psychology. The first one he forgets by next week. The second, he carries in his memory until he dies, and probably mentions you in therapy years later. Jung called this the language of the collective unconscious, an energetic communication that goes far beyond the physical and touches directly into primitive masculine instincts. And there are 4 specific places on his body that, when touched with the right consciousness, activate this archetypal connection so intensely that you literally become unforgettable. Now, we're not talking about those obvious places any woman has already discovered. We're talking about energetic points that awaken something much more powerful than lust in him. They awaken devotion, protection, and that primitive masculine need to conquer you every single day. Today, you'll discover these 4 sacred places and the deep psychology behind each one. Because when you understand the why, the how becomes naturally devastating.
The kiss of vulnerability, the forehead, and the awakening of masculine protection. The masculine forehead is much more than a physical region. It's the portal of access to what Jung called the higher self, the center of consciousness and identity. When you gently kiss a man's forehead, you're symbolically touching his mind, his fears, his deepest concerns. But here's the secret most women don't understand. Men live under constant pressure to be strong, rational, invulnerable. The forehead carries the weight of all the decisions, responsibilities, and social expectations he faces daily. It's where his persona lives, the social mask that Jung described as our public face. When you kiss his forehead with genuine tenderness, you're saying energetically, I see your humanity behind the strength. I honor your mind, but I also embrace your vulnerabilities. This gesture awakens in him the archetype of the wounded king, that masculine part that needs healing, understanding, and unconditional acceptance. Neuroscience confirms what Jung intuited. The frontal region of the brain is directly connected to the limbic system, responsible for emotions and affective memories. A kiss on the forehead releases oxytocin and activates the same neural areas stimulated by the primordial maternal bond, but without infantilizing him. Here's the conscious technique. Approach him when he's in a moment of reflection or worry. Look into his eyes for a few seconds, allowing him to feel your full presence. Then, with your hands gently resting on his face, kiss his forehead slowly, as if you were sealing a blessing. Timing is crucial. Don't do this during moments of intense passion, but in moments of emotional intimacy, after a deep conversation, when he shared something personal, or when you notice he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. This kiss activates what psychologists call the reciprocal care response. He unconsciously associates you with the feeling of peace, understanding, and total acceptance. You become, in his mind, not just a romantic partner, but an emotional ally. Someone who sees his soul beyond his social performance.
The kiss of presence, the hands and the silent language of admiration. Prepare yourself for a revelation that will turn your perception upside down. Masculine hands are one of the most neglected and, paradoxically, most powerful points for creating an unforgettable connection. While you're focused on obvious zones, you're completely missing the gateway to the deepest masculine ego. His hands carry the entire identity of provider, protector, and creator that defines his archetypal essence. Jung observed that hands represent our ability to shape the world, to create, to protect. For men specifically, hands are direct extensions of their masculinity. It's with them that he works, builds, protects you, touches you. It's literally where his sense of competence and worth lives. Here's what most women don't understand. When you kiss a man's hands, you're paying reverence to his ability to take care of you. You're energetically recognizing that he is capable, strong, worthy of admiration. And that, darling, is like psychological crack for the masculine ego. But be careful with timing and approach. It's not just any moment that works. Doing this wrong can sound forced or even too submissive. The secret lies in conscious spontaneity. The most powerful technique: take his hand when you're in a moment of genuine connection, maybe after he did something kind for you, or when you're talking about something important. Look at his hands for a moment, as if you were really seeing them for the first time. Then bring one of his hands to your lips and gently kiss the back of his hand, or his fingers, maintaining eye contact. It's not a sexual kiss, it's a kiss of recognition, almost ceremonial. What happens in his brain at this moment is fascinating. You simultaneously activate the centers of reward, self-esteem, and protection. He feels seen, valued, and unconsciously responsible for deserving this admiration. There's an even more powerful variation. Kiss the palm of his hand. The palm is where more nerve receptors are concentrated and represents, symbolically, his ability to hold and protect you. It's a gesture that communicates, I trust your hands. I feel safe with your strength. This type of kiss creates what psychologists call a positive validation loop. He feels admired, so he acts even more protectively and carefully, which generates more admiration from you, creating a virtuous cycle of connection. The difference between an ordinary woman and an unforgettable one is exactly here, in the ability to make a man feel not just desired, but truly admired and respected in his masculine essence.
The seal of memory, the shoulders, and the indelible energetic mark. And we arrive at the grand finale, at the place that literally seals your presence in his memory permanently. Masculine shoulders. If you thought shoulders, seriously, it's exactly this reaction that explains why so many women go unnoticed in men's lives. The shoulders are the ultimate symbol of masculine strength, the place where he literally carries the weight of the world. It's where all the social pressure of being the provider, the protector, the strong one lives. Jung identified the shoulders as the physical manifestation of the Atlas archetype, the one who sustains everything and everyone. Here's the psychological genius. When you kiss a man's shoulders, you're touching exactly the point where he accumulates all his emotional and physical tension. It's as if you were saying, I recognize the weight you carry, and I want to share this burden with you. But let's be honest, most women treat masculine shoulders like passing scenery. They rush through there, focused on more interesting destinations. Big strategic mistake, because they're missing the opportunity to create the most lasting impression possible. Neuroscience reveals something fascinating. The shoulders are directly connected to the vagus nerve, responsible for the deep relaxation response. When you kiss this region with intention, you activate a cascade of neurotransmitters that literally reprograms the association you make with him. The most powerful technique happens when he has his back to you, maybe after a difficult day or when you're in a moment of intimacy after a deep conversation. A
Approach from behind. Place your hands gently on his shoulders first, feeling the tension accumulated there. Then slowly kiss the region between the neck and shoulder, that point where the trapezius muscles meet. It's not a quick kiss, it's a lingering kiss, almost reverential, as if you are honoring all the strength he represents. There's an even more impactful variation. Kiss each shoulder separately, as if you were blessing his ability to carry responsibilities. This gesture activates what Jung called archetypal recognition. You're validating his deepest masculine essence. What happens in his unconscious is transformative. You become associated not just with pleasure or passion, but with relief, recognition, deep understanding. You become the woman who understands the weight he carries, who honors his strength without demanding that he be invulnerable. This kiss creates an energetic impression that psychologists call positive emotional anchoring. Every time he feels the weight of responsibilities on his shoulders, he will unconsciously remember you, the feeling of relief, understanding, and acceptance you provided. Now you possess the complete map of deep masculine psychology applied to the art of unforgettable connection. These 4 places, forehead, neck, hands, and shoulders, are not just physical points. They are portals of access to the most primitive and powerful archetypes of the masculine mind. The difference between a woman he forgets and one he carries in his memory forever is not in physical beauty, sexual performance, or cheap psychological games. It's in the ability to communicate directly with his unconscious, awakening recognition, protection, and genuine devotion. Remember, each kiss must carry conscious intention. It's not about mechanical technique, but about full presence and deep understanding of what each gesture represents energetically.
Practical tips to implement today. Observe his emotional state before choosing which place to touch. Each moment calls for a different approach. Practice full presence. Your total attention is more powerful than any technique. Respect timing. These gestures work in moments of emotional intimacy, not just physical. Be genuine. The intention behind the gesture is more important than perfect execution. Jung said that the meeting of 2 personalities is like the contact of 2 chemical substances. If there's any reaction, both are transformed. When you touch these energetic points with consciousness, you're not just creating memories, you're creating mutual transformation. The question that remains is, will you continue being just another woman who passes through his life? Or will you become the one who awakens in him the deepest and most connected version of himself? The choice, as always, is yours. But now you have the tools to make this choice consciously and powerfully. If this content transformed your perspective on connection and relationships, share it with other women who also deserve to discover their genuine power. And in the comments, tell us which of these places you'll try first. Your experience can inspire other women on their journey of self-discovery.